Hey Shava, how's it going?
All good, thank you. What about you?
I'm good. So it's a day ahead there, right?
Yes,
Like what's the future like?
Good
Is the
morning.
world still a mess?
yeah,
All
here's,
right.
I'm in Melbourne, Australia. Here's Friday morning. It's so sunny and it's getting hotter here. So, because we are in the middle of spring, the
Right.
opposite of
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
So
beautiful.
what's like compared to Latin America, what is Melbourne equal to? What the latitude line or longitude line would Melbourne be equal to? Is it like Peru?
Uh,
No.
yeah, kind of Peru, Chile, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Argentina, yeah, the South America. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So no, I've never been to Australia. How did you? Because you're Mexican, right? Like, how did you
Yeah,
wind up in Australia?
Yeah, Mexican. I born in Ensenada, Baja California,
Uh
the
huh.
north side of Mexico. And I got here because my wife, she's Australian.
Okay. Okay. All
And
right.
we met in Oaxaca, Mexico.
Okay. How did you meet in Oaxaca?
I went to Oaxaca because I started a book about traditional beverage, and she was there traveling. But because she loved Mexico so much, she decided to move there for 5 years, and we met in COVID. Yeah,
Okay. Oh,
that
okay.
was
So you met during the research of this book that we're talking about.
yeah. I
That's
did.
pretty amazing.
Yeah, after I published the book February 29 of the 2020, so 2 weeks before everything hit in COVID. So I published the book, and my wife, she went to the presentation of the book, to the launch, and she knew about me, but I didn't know about her. And yeah, in COVID, we met through a dating app.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you stayed in Oaxaca through COVID.
yeah, I stayed in Oaxaca because I didn't know what to do after. I just published a book and everything got closed, and I have a lot of time to think about it, and I just focus on the advertising of the book and packaging the book. I did everything by myself,
Mm-hmm.
like all the logistic. So yeah, I stay in Oaxaca because we kind of knew that it was gonna be just for a few months, but
Mm.
it
Yeah.
took us more than a few months.
Right, right, right. No, like it's a beautiful book. I know I told you this
Thank you.
by DM or email like a few months ago, but I don't know where I first learned about it. I don't think it was in Oaxaca. I went there. Maybe it was in Oaxaca because I was there right kind of when things opened up.
Hmm.
So I mean, we may have even met somehow, but yeah, I saw it, and then I started following you on social media, and it's really beautiful. It's really such a beautiful piece of work. But you have no culinary background
Hmm.
or anything
No,
like that, right?
not at all. Yeah, not at all. I am a photographer, but I was focused on advertising
Uh huh.
and taking photos of almost everything because I used to work in a agency in Monterrey in Mexico. But I started this project because I just wanted to travel and take photos around the whole country. And I was looking for a topic that can be replicated in each state of Mexico. And at first I thought maybe tacos, because there is tacos in every state of Mexico. But there is so many projects about tacos. Then I thought maybe tamales, same. And I was living in Canada by then when I had the idea to focus on beverage and aguas frescas, because I was living with my brother and he was preparing this agua de mango. And I said, of course, there is so many aguas frescas in Mexico that I can take photos of it. So that was my first approach, like how aguas frescas or beverage can be in every town or every state of Mexico. That's why I start with the project, but I don't have culinary background at all. Like, yeah, that was my first approach in Oaxaca.
And it's interesting because I don't feel you approach it like someone who comes from commercial photography at
Mm.
all. Like the work definitely is the complete opposite of that. It's not the posed, kind of manufactured way of shooting food. It's very much documenting. It's very much
Mm.
this kind of authentic style that you don't see enough of. I think, and it's really like, how did it come to that? Like, was there a point to where you started this work shooting aguas frescas and something changed?
No, it's a
Okay.
good question. It's a good question because before I started the project, my idea was taking photos of traditional beverage of the whole country.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I'm gonna stay in Oaxaca for a few months, then Chiapas, Tabasco, Guerrero, and the rest of the south of Mexico. And my idea was taking photos of the final beverage, like product
Mm-hmm.
photography,
Yeah.
like a final beverage in a cup, in a
Uh-huh.
mug, or in
Yeah.
a jicara, in a gourd. That was my first idea. Like, okay, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
take photos of that, talking with the people who prepare the beverage, having this interview. But the first beverage that I take photos of, it was tejate. I'm not sure if you know about tejate, but
Mm-hmm.
this is
Yeah.
a beverage. In general, it's a beverage with corn, cacao, flour, and mamey seed. So I went to the house of the lady. Her name is Lucrecia Ruiz. I went to her house, and my mind was like, "What is this?" Because she had all the ingredients and the kitchen tools on the ground over petates. Petate is this Mexican rock made of palm tree, and she had all the ingredients in jicaras. Jicaras is
Mm-hmm.
in English, I think, is a gourd.
Yeah, it's a
And
type of gourd. Yeah, dried
so,
gourd. Yeah.
yeah, and the comal was there, the metate was there, everything. And I was, what is this? So many textures, so much color. And I was, okay, I didn't expect this. So I start taking photos of everything because that was new for me. And at that moment, I thought, okay, this is not going to be a product photography book. This is going to be about the process of the preparation of the beverage, the process and the ingredients and the cooking techniques, all the behind the beverage. The beverage at the end was like an excuse, but that first beverage that I take photos of it changed my whole idea of this book. So because everything was new for me, I decided to take photos of everything. And because I didn't have a culinary background, I never was in front of a kitchen, traditional kitchen like her kitchen. That was maybe the thing that changed the project, and I started paying attention to everything, to things that people maybe take it for granted. For me, was a completely different um, idea because in Ensenada, in Baja California, in the north side of Mexico, we don't have that
Mm-hmm.
traditional techniques.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that difference between, seeing at your work from the photographing a product versus the process, I saw something you said in your webpage about visuals. So it's a statement. You have like 4 or 5 statements, and I want to talk about at least a couple of them. One is visuals should feel as real as the story behind them. And I'm wondering if that's how you approach everything now and how you manage to do that. Because, yeah, maybe registering the process helps, But if you can explain us more what you mean, because I think it's a powerful statement, meaningful, but also it's a commitment, right? It's ambitious. So yeah, I was curious about that.
Yeah, thank you for that question because it's the thing that changed how I see the photography now. The project changed my mind in the way that when you know the process of something, you can value more that product or service. So if you know how a meal is preparing, how the beverage is preparing, you know the full process, where the ingredients came from, who is making that beverage, what is the story behind. At least for me, I value more that beverage. So I want to show that part. Like we know what the coffee tastes, but we don't know sometimes where the coffee came
What is
from.
it? Yeah.
What is it behind? There is so many people in the world that they don't know that coffee comes from a fruit. They just know that, okay, we have coffee and that's it, but they don't know nothing about the coffee farms or coffee fields and what are the requirements to have a good coffee quality beans. So this project changed my mind in the way that I was going to these cacao fields, corn fields to see what is behind the beverage. It's not the beverage, it's all the ingredients that the beverage required to have this quality of beverage. So because of that, I decided that I want to take photos of the process of the things that I'm working with. Could be a product or could be a service. I understand and I'm aware that sometimes it's hard to take photos of the process, but like you say, it's something ambitious that I wish I could do with any photo that I take.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How did you get the list together of which traditional drinks you were going to shoot? Because I know, yeah, there's some standard ones that kind of, the tepaches and tejates that
Mm-hmm.
are kind of widely known. But there's so many, especially in Oaxaca. There's really very little written reference whatsoever about a lot of them. Some of them are, I'm sure, just limited to certain villages.
Mm-hmm.
So how
Yeah,
did that, like, what kind of list did you go into this with, and how did it change?
yeah. Before I traveled to Oaxaca because Oaxaca was my first state, I made a digital research just online, checking books, magazines, articles, anything related with traditional beverage around the whole country. So focusing on Oaxaca, I found that it was just 13 beverage by then. And I made a deep research about, well, deep research in quotes, 3 months searching daily. So I just found 13 beverage. And those beverages were the most popular, like you said, like tejate,
Mm-hmm.
tepache, mezcal, obviously, pulque, and chocolate de agua,
Mm-hmm.
chocolate atole, atole de maíz, atole de panela. Anyway, 13 beverages. That's why I thought in a, I think in a naive way, saying like, okay, just Oaxaca just has 13 beverages. That's why
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay
I'll
just
start here and then
for
move on to the rest of Mexico. And
exactly.
yeah, okay.
But when I start traveling and asking for the beverage to the people, to the locals, they said, no, we have this beverage in my hometown, which is 5 hours from the city. There is another beverage that they prepare just in this festivity, which is 8.5 hours from the city. And I was, oh my God. And those beverages, a lot of them, they had never been registered or yeah, registered or
Mm-hmm.
taking photos of. There is no approach to them because those beverages are just in those communities. So at first was hard, but then when I started sharing the photos and the articles in my blog about the beverage that I have been taking photos of it, people start sending me a message through Facebook,
Mm.
and because of that, they invite me to their hometowns, and I start traveling. And as much as travel, as much as I know that there is more beverage, more than the digital, more than in the digital world. I'm not sure if
What,
this makes sense.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
it's fascinating. Were there any kind of beverages you learned about, but you weren't able to take a photo of, like they just weren't accessible, or the communities didn't want to share kind of the
Mm,
process?
yeah, and now at first, uh, no, because I think I have been taking photos of almost every beverage that people have been telling me about it.
Hmm.
And because at first I didn't have like a time. I just want to take photos and travel. I didn't have like, okay, I need to finish this by
A
this time.
timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a timeline. So every people who send me a message like, "Hey, my grandma prepared these beverages. We want to be part of your project. Would you be able to travel?" And I say, "Yes, of course. Let me just organize my schedule." And at first, I was saying yes to everything, but there was a point at the end of the project in the middle of 2019, I was thinking, okay, I have enough. If I continue this, I will never finish.
Yeah.
So at first, I had a, I didn't have a timeline, but at the end of the project, I needed to have a timeline. So I took photos of the first edition of the book has 77 beverage, and I said, okay, it's gonna be a first edition. I don't know when I'm gonna made another edition, but every beverage after this month, it will come to the second edition. So now I have two editions. The second edition has 87 beverage, and I just went to Oaxaca last month, and I took photos of around another 10 beverage. So every time that people reach me out, like, okay, we have this beverage, I make a list and I try to organize when to take photos of.
Mm.
I haven't registered all of them. I have on my um, how do you say, like a waiting list, maybe
Hmm.
around 15 beverage
Okay. And this is just Oaxaca.
just in Oaxaca. So
It's crazy.
it's insane. It's insane. It still blow my mind every time that I go to Oaxaca. I'm surprised about a new beverage. This time I traveled to a region in the north, close to Veracruz, called Papaloapan or La Chinantla. It was actually in the book is a less. Uh, I have less beverage from that
Hmm.
region in compared to the others, but this time I took photos of around 10 beverage just from that area because it's kind of a the towns are kind of 8 hours from there
Yeah.
and are eight
Yeah.
hours, but the road is not a straight road. The road is in the mountains.
Yeah.
You need to take like two different public transport. It's hard to go there.
Oh, you're going by public transport, like when you're going around, mostly?
Yes,
Oh, that's hard.
mostly,
Yeah.
mostly, but it's
Yeah.
because well, this time I travel to with public transport because these beverages are just beverage focused on cacao, and these beverages are part of another book that I'm working with a research.
Okay, a book on cacao. Can you?
Yeah, cacao and chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, a friend, he made all the research about cacao and chocolate origins in Mexico and South America, and he invited me to take photos to his book. It's a collaboration project, but at the same time, because a few of the beverages are in Oaxaca, I'm gonna use those beverages to another edition of Bebidas de Oaxaca. So
Okay.
it's kind of yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
collaboration.
No, and because you mentioned edition, of the book, a new edition, have you thought about transforming the book in a digital content that you can update? And, I mean, working in new editions of the book, but at the same time updating the digital content. I know that's kind of a headache too, but because you keep finding, and this might become an encyclopedia of beverages in Mexico.
You could like have a paywall and do like access to it.
Yeah, exactly.
You never. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Like if you keep updating it. And
it because you're.
I mean, it could be useful in that way, and
actually, is the best way to start sharing this information before making a new edition, because we just launched the second edition December 2023, so it's hard to publish a new edition every year. It's like it's not possible. It requires a lot of investment, a lot of money to print it, and the publisher they aren't gonna do it. The third edition I have been thinking to publish in 2028, because 2028 it will be the 10 years since I started the project. But we are in 2025. Before 2028, the best way to share is, like you said, digital way. That's why I start sharing every beverage in the blog of Bebidas de Oaxaca, the website, but it's in Spanish. So every second week, we publish a new beverage. I start publishing every week. It was a new beverage. But now, because I have more things to do, this is not my main job. I decide, okay, every 2 weeks, I'm going to publish one blog with all the information, a lot of photos of the beverage, and that is free. It's in the blog. Nice. And so
you are keeping the blog, the Substack, and the YouTube, because you said you are going to get a you're going to cancel all your social media except from what, so that we know. I mean, you said reach out to me to email, or you're keeping your blog.
Yeah.
YouTube is not working anymore.
No, sometimes I start sharing more content because this cacao and chocolate book, they reached me out a few months ago. And I traveled last month to 6 different states of Mexico. But this project was sponsored by a few brands. They asked me, can you please start sharing in social media?
And I was, there you go.
It's so hard to get away from. Like I wish I could just cut Instagram the fuck out of my life and all of these things, but it's like, but then somehow somebody like pulls you in somewhere.
Exactly. And I was like, oh man, like,
what do I do?
Yeah, but at least that was I quit social media because it was overwhelming and all this bad stuff that came with it. But when they said, okay, we're gonna sponsor you, they traveled me to Mexico, they pay for everything. I said, okay, this makes sense. I'm working, they are paying me to publish this, so it's something. And I quit social media for almost 9 months until this came. Okay. But now, because I have 9 months of kind of detox, I'm not craving to be in social media. Sometimes I share because a lot of people are in Facebook and Instagram the community of Bebidas de Oaxaca is big in Facebook, and now is big in Instagram. And I looking at like a tool, like it is. It's just a tool. I'm not spending time there. I sharing sometimes. I stopped sharing from the last month in Bebidas de Oaxaca. Often I'm gonna share maybe once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks. But my focus now is the blog and Substack. Substack is more personal, but I want to make a channel just focused on beverage of Oaxaca in English because there is not information of Bebidas de Oaxaca in English. All the website is in Spanish. But at the end, I realized I'm going to use social media as a tool and put in more effort in the deep content, which is the
Yeah.
blog.
Yeah. No, I've tried to do that too, and I think it's very easy to fall in the trap of putting all of your content on Instagram or something, and I think it's a mistake of a lot of people. They just give it away to these tech companies, and then it's like nobody ends up going to the deeper stuff. It's just all there. But yeah, we have to break out of that.
Yeah,
It's awful.
Well,
but
the other
it's
thing now
possible.
that you
Yeah, I think
mentioned,
it is possible. It's becoming easier and
at
easier
least,
to break away.
yeah, at least to lessen the amount of, yeah. So you said this is a collaborative project, the one with cacao. And the other thing that I was curious about, one of your statements is how creativity might be a tool for care, connection, and resistance. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, creativity can be a connection with the resistance. Depends how you use it and you share your knowledge about. In my case, is photography. So I think if I show this part of the process of the beverage, how people work, how people live, how people prepare all of these part of their ancestors, I
Yeah,
think if I am interested, I would think if I am interested in this, more people can be interested. Not necessarily pushing people, okay, you should change your dietary to instead of drinking Coke, drinking just traditional
yeah,
beverage. It's
yeah.
not it's not that. It's just if I am interested, I think sharing through
And
my
if you
creative.
widen the amount of information you share and the format, then you open new channels of communication and connection with what you are representing or portraying or just
Yeah,
registering.
totally true. And some people are more attracted to see videos, some photos,
Yeah,
some readings, some
yeah.
articles. So that's what.
Testimonies. Yeah,
Yeah, so that's why in the creative way, it's good if you share one project to all of these type of formats.
you actually have a good mix of and yeah, that's why I mean that's creative in itself. Some people do it in Instagram. Uh, some are videos, some are pictures, some are a little story with one picture. Then maybe so you have a mix of things, and
Mhm.
they are all intending to do the same, but to different, slightly different formats, and they share a piece of information that it's a bit different. So I think this might be an example of that. And
Mhm.
some people might click on one because they want to see a video. Some might read, and that's the other thing. Do you Spanish and English? What have you thought about sharing all this precious information well, you're a Spanish speaker, but then you
Mhm.
have an audience in English and alive in an English speaking country. How do you go about that?
Yeah, that's why I decide to. It's hard if I want to translate the website.
Yeah,
It's possible, but because there is so many articles now, so
Hmm.
much
yeah,
information, the
yeah,
translation it will cost me a lot.
Yeah.
yeah,
Paying a service like Wiglot or another
yeah,
type of translation service, it will cost me a lot.
yeah,
That's why I decide to start a blog on Substack, just focus on Beverage of Oaxaca, the same information that we have on the website, but in English,
mm,
because more people are reaching me out
yeah,
uh, in this language. And of course, it's a language that I live here in Australia. And at first, I was also doing, I mean, 4 years ago, I started sharing the content in the two language, one video in English, one video in Spanish. But that took me a while, of
Yeah.
course, and it's a lot of production. And I
Yes.
was maybe it's not the way, or at least it's not possible to do it now. But I already have all the content of the book in English, so I'm just gonna transform in Substack format. And I think this Substack community is a community who care about this type of information more
So it's
deeply.
worth doing. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And
Yeah.
it's a good way
We've
to
talked.
connect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
talked about this a bit. I think we've had other like Substack writers, I guess, on here, but in side of myself. But it's when stories are just going to someone's inbox and they don't unsubscribe, they're invested in a different way than they are with a follower on Instagram. It's like they're, even if they don't read every post, they're committed to your stories. Maybe not all of them, but at least some of them. And when they open the ones that they like, they usually, they read them. They'll read that 1,000, 3,000 word story and see those photos in a way that they can't just flick up like with like Instagram or whatever. And I think it changes your relationship to the reader in a way that's closer to like a book. It's not exactly the same, but it's still, if someone's going to buy a book or check it out from a library, I think they're committed in a different way. And like social media, it's just like, we pick up our phone and it's just like you see 5,000 stories in 5 minutes and you don't even realize, 5 minutes later what you just looked at, and it just like
Exactly.
enters your brain and it's gone. But yeah, Substack or whatever else newsletter platform, or I think it's good. I'm glad it's happening, and I hope it finds a way to stay and expand in a way, because I think people are fucking sick of.
It requires a different mindset because whoever
Yeah.
is posting on Substack, there is some work they have to prepare to that and a content. And then as a reader or a consumer, you know that you have to do the same and respond in the same way. So it's it's different mindset.
Yeah,
Deeper, yeah.
yeah, totally fair. Is you mentioned is the reader is different and they have a different mindset. And this project, I have so much information like in photo, video, audio, everything, and I don't want to share in the way that people just scroll and don't care about the information. That's why I want to share it more deep, because these people matter and the stories matter. And I think Substack is one of, more than the book, is one platform that can bring me that. And at the end, it's like doing the thing that you want and you do not, because you're not gonna do things just following trends. That in long term is gonna be exhausting. It's gonna drain you, because that happened to me before. Social media drained me. The Bebidas de Oaxaca, the project, drained me just because I was creating content just because I needed to post something,
Yeah.
and because of that, I lose my desire to keep with the project. That's why I stopped using them as well. And now, in another format, and in the format of the blog and the website, makes me happy every time that I start writing and I start sharing.
Yeah, no, it's like the amount of engagement, even though it's, of course you can share a post on Instagram and a million people can see it, and sure, that happens sometimes, not to me, but some people, I guess. But if 500 people read a 2,000 word story on Substack or 1,000 words, those people are really engaged. They're not just clicking on it with their eyeballs for 3 seconds. They're spending, a half hour of their life invested in these stories. And I think, the people in your books, they deserve that. I think
Yeah.
you think they deserve that. So yeah, it's it's interesting, this kind of changing dynamic.
How do you interact with this approach and more profound way of looking at food photography? What is your conversation with colleagues? Have you found a community to discuss this, or you feel by yourself? What is your ecosystem in that regard as a photographer?
Yeah, as a photographer, I don't have so many photographers, friends who focus on this type of documentary. I can mention one. He's amazing. He's an amazing photographer, and he is living in Oaxaca. And we were talking last month about this also. Like, there is so much to show and to share and to care about the people behind it. And we were talking why there is no more photographers doing this. And we don't know. We don't have the idea. But one of the answers that we were talking about, it was like, because people want us to earn money, the needs are different, and
I assure you that's part of it.
Yeah. So this type of cultural projects, I'm not earning money with this project. Is like, I'm doing this because I love Oaxaca, I love the people, and I love to share, and I think it's worth it to share, because even if we were a few people who care about this, maybe they're gonna spread the word and more people is gonna know about it. But that was our conclusion, I can say. Like, it's because if you need to eat, you need to pay the bills. You focus on the things that give you more money, and yes, that's why. But also, I was talking about this kind of project with other two people. They are focused on ferments. So ferments is kind of a trend, but they are making ferments in not kombucha, nothing commercial, ferments like Asian ferments and Mexican ferments. And this guy said, we are just a few, he said this in Spanish, frikis. Frikis is freak. I'm not sure if the translation is correct in English, but he said, we are just a few frikis who focus on this niche. And we have to be okay with it. Like, we don't need thousands of people reach out for this. Maybe just the people who care about this is okay. And when you have that mindset, like sharing the things because you love it instead of sharing because you want to people pay you or going to a different mindset as you, I think that can block us.
But there has to be. I mean, I agree with the two of you, and I mean that happens to me with my work too as a freelancer and everything that you have to do to make it work. But somehow, I'm sure some photographers enjoy this commercial photography, and that happily pays the bills. But at the same time, I can see many people that haven't found that strong connection with something that once you find it, you cannot help not doing it. And you find the ways, as you did, and as Nick does, and as I do. So there is something missing, that it's not only, they have to pay the bills. Somehow that passion or that something that is just like this bug it's not there, and for whatever the reason. So yes, but no.
Totally understand when the passion is there, you're gonna do everything possible to keep doing, like no matter what. And that's I think that is the reason that I'm looking at this project like long term. Like be trying to find a way to make it profitable.
So that
because
you
I
can
want.
spare more and more time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, of course, you have the passion and you have the love, but at the same time, the project is not profitable. Is if no one
Yeah.
pay or buy the book, even the website. Like we need to pay the website
Of
and
course. Yeah.
the
And everything
and
is money. Yeah.
everything. So I think I'm on the way, on the path to find this long term um, key, maybe to make it possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a challenge with
Yeah,
any
it's a
passion project. I think it's like how much do you need to sacrifice to get to the point
Yeah.
to make
yeah,
it profitable.
yeah. Like I think years, but if we focus on how long it will take us, I think that could be an obstacle to
Yeah,
start doing
yeah,
it.
I agree.
And because I had that mindset before, and now
Hmm.
my mindset is like uh, just sharing, and more people is gonna see the project. And that happened with you, with your project, with New Worlder. That happened like I don't know how we connect. I don't remember how we connect. I think I sent you a message or an email.
Yeah, but I may have posted something
Yeah, and
somewhere about your something going
so
on. Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
is I think the key is being consistency no matter what. And I'm not talking from I'm not talking from a privileged state. I'm just working part time, and I'm trying to have more work every day. And at the same time, I dedicate 90 minutes every day, no matter what, 90 minutes to this project.
Hmm.
That's in long term, 90 minutes every day. Long term is a lot. That's why you start building something. Like, of course, is the idea is having more job, having more income, but that is not an obstacle to work 90 minutes per day in something that you're passionate about it that doesn't give you any money.
Hmm. Yeah. I read somewhere, or maybe it was another interview that I heard you on, that Rafa Meyer from Fundación Tortilla
Mm.
um, was an influence on how you shared what you were documenting. How exactly was that? I know Rafa, and he's a brilliant guy, so I'm super curious because I think he's really profound.
Yeah, Rafa, he made the prologue of the second edition of
Okay.
my book, and he's an amazing guy. I met Rafa 2018, so the first during the first months that I have been in Oaxaca, and I met Rafa in one corn activity, of course, in Oaxaca, and he started talking about corn and how corn is important and about beans. And I was, of course, this is the way to share. He shared with me what is Fundación de Tortilla de Maíz Mexicana. I didn't know about it by then, and I started looking at his blog, his website, and I want that for Bebidas de Oaxaca, but I wasn't aware. I mean, I wasn't sure what I want. I just saw the website and I thought
Yeah.
I want that, but I wasn't sure what because they have so much information about everything. It's not
Yeah.
just one top. It's not just one topic. It's beans, legumes, corn, obviously, different projects, now books, articles, so much information, important. And I just have that on my mind. And I had a talk actually with him 1 year ago, December, no, it was December 2024. Yeah, less than a year before I took Bebidas de Oaxaca project again because I paused it. I paused it for a few months. And I was talking with him like, I'm tired, I'm burnt out, I don't want to do anything related with bebidas. And he started sharing with me like how hard is having a non-profit organization and how hard is doing this for years. And he said, but we are doing this because we love it no matter what. And we start sharing and more people is taking care about this. And I see him like a mentor when I'm, I, when I want to burn this project, when I want to pause this project, I see him like a mentor because he has been doing this for so many years. And in the way that he shared, he obviously has a team, but he said, I didn't have a team at the beginning. I started doing this by myself. And at the beginning, Fundación de Tortilla, it wasn't a non-profit organization. Now they have sponsors. Now they have a income who paid for the team. But having this on my mind was like, yeah, of course, like he has more years than me doing this, and the compare with him or compare with another non-profit is not. It wasn't making me any good. So that's why I started looking at the project in a different way, like just sharing step by step. Like I said, just 90 minutes per day, and until the project could be bigger. I'm not sure if this make sense and answer your questions, but I see Rafa project like inspiration for Bebidas de Oaxaca.
Yeah, no, it's amazing what he's accomplished. I think he's changed the conversation about land-raised corn in Mexico and around the world. And I can't imagine it was easy. Like he said something to me once that I think about all the time, that preserving corn or whatever heirloom ingredient or thing, it's expensive. And like it's I think a lot of people don't understand that it requires, so it's not just leave it alone in these things, these ancestral, whether it's drinks or ingredients, are just going to survive. But there's so much work that needs to be done, and it takes a lot of money to keep them alive. Because
Yeah,
there's so many outside forces that are there to just wipe them out. But it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of people and a lot of people to come together to keep these things going.
yeah, I think hard work requires time and like you said, outsource forces is gonna push you to go to the easy way, like drinking a soda instead of drinking
Yeah,
a beverage,
right.
because there's no comparison between going to the store and buying a soda and drink it and prepare all of these beverages, all of the things behind the preparation and the knowledge that you need to make them. There is no comparison. Of course, we want to go to the easy way, but what is the main purpose of sharing this? And what is the positive and negative impact that has drink this or the other drink, and eat this or eat the other thing, or having the original corn or having the corn that has been um,
Like
I don't remember.
genetically modified or
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. What is the positive and the negative impact? And even the positive and the negative impact, we are not gonna be able to see it in this life, but maybe in the life that comes after us. And at least for me, is the way that I'm looking at this. Like, I don't want that this disappears, but also it's not on me to decide that. It's only on me to share the thing that I'm looking at and share the things that I already take photos of. And if that helps, and other people are focused on this type of project, that is a win. Same with Rafa. Like he's doing this not for him because he is not going to be able to see the positive impact of his project until the generations after.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean I think it's easy to kind of lose hope, especially with a project like his where you see like, most of the tortillas in Mexico now made from, not being from non-nixtamalized corn, from
Mm.
corn that's, very commercial. And but then you also see all this, then you see all these,
Yeah.
really bright spots of hope, all these, this resurgence
Mm.
of heirloom corn also happening, in which I think he is seeing in his lifetime now, and I think it's
Yeah,
happening in a big way.
yeah, so many
And
things. Yeah,
yeah, so I don't know. I think that's kind of what we all in this little room here are aspiring to in one way or another.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
Yeah,
seeing a
it's a slow process,
yeah,
like decades
yeah,
process. So
yeah.
that
Totally, we
might
live in.
take, yeah, yeah, that might take away some of the anxiety or frustration. Like,
Yeah, because we live
yeah,
in a time that we want everything fast,
yeah,
faster, and we want immediately reactions.
yeah,
But
results. Yeah,
yeah, but good things takes time, same as a tree.
I think
yeah.
we are getting old too. That means we are getting old too. Hopefully wiser.
Yeah, yeah. I think like every day is a lesson, so we learn something new every day, no matter what. Could be something through a bad experience, but at the end, everything is a lesson. And yes, I started changing my mindset a few months ago because I was like, what is the point of doing this if no one cares, or if I'm not receiving money and not putting time and I'm losing money actually? What is the point? If you look at the negative, of course you're
Yeah,
gonna find it. But if you
yeah.
look the positive, at the same time you're gonna find it.
Do you have similar projects in Australia or in Europe or somewhere else that is, that maybe don't require so much traveling and logistics?
No, I wish I have, but no. I'm working just on Bebidas de Oaxaca, like
Just on, like,
yeah,
it does
Yeah.
not a small
and
project.
and is long distance because I go there, take photos, and I
Yeah,
come back and I process all the content. But I wish I could be um, taking photos of more projects like that, at least here in Australia. I'm very interested now in tea and coffee because
mm,
tea culture here in Australia is growing, especially because we have a big Asian influence from China, and also coffee culture here is insane, especially
yeah,
in Melbourne. So I wish I could have more projects related with drinks here, because
yeah.
now my I have a part-time job that I'm going now, and that is not related. It's not related at all about the things that I care and my passion. And but like we said, something has to pay the
Yeah,
bills.
yeah.
Do you find being away from Mexico, being away from Oaxaca, useful at all when you're putting this project together? In the
Hmm.
sense that you can step away a little bit of it. Like I know, I'm sure when you're there, it's probably like when the same way that I travel at this point, that it's on your last trip. I'm sure it was just like nonstop research, like not even breathing, and just like
Absorbing all the
nonstop traveling
information.
around, and like
Yeah,
exhaustion, and and researching as much as you can. But is it good in a way, whether it's from Ensenada or Melbourne, to kind of be separated from that at all.
Yeah, yeah, totally. It is because when we live in a place for a long period of time, we take it for granted so many things because we can see those things daily. And when you don't have those things daily, you can see, oh, they don't know about this here. And I'm not sure what is the saying, but it's something like this, the saying like you can't see the label if you are inside of the bottle or in the jar, something like that. So when you are away from that, you can have a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And living here in Australia gave me this perspective in a way that I want to have a project that connect Oaxaca with Australia. That this time that I travel, focus on cacao and chocolate, I brought so many of those products here to make something new related with beverage, because there is nothing like that here, and at the same time, there is nothing about that in the north side of Mexico. It's on the south side, but in the north side there
Mm-hmm.
is nothing. So yes, gave me another perspective to share and to not take it for granted, because people who lives in Oaxaca, they of course know about Tejate, and when you live there, you know about Tejate, but outside of Oaxaca, no one knows about Tejate unless that you are making a research.
Mm-hmm.
So that's at the same time gave me the um, I can say the not the inspiration, maybe the fuel to keep sharing, to be aware,
Mm-hmm.
like there is not many people who know about this, and because of that, I will share more and more and more. Yeah, change the perspective totally. Now living here in Australia, after being for 1 month in Mexico, it's totally different worlds, and that happens
Mm-hmm.
to any other countries. Totally different worlds, and that's in a way give me a purpose to keep sharing.
Julie, same question for you. Does living in the
Yeah.
U.S. affect how you think about Colombia? Because
Yeah,
a
I am
lot of your work
originally
is still
from
in Colombia.
Colombia, Shava.
Ah,
So I think so. I have thought about it, and I think there was a point in my career in which, I mean, personally, I was satisfied enough, but also I think I did everything I could from my niche work and career in Colombia. So I went to different stages and spaces to work, and I felt satisfied with that. And at some point, and when I got my work visa and all that, and my son got a scholarship here, all that happened. I realized that I was more helpful from here too, because first I can bring knowledge here that might be useful to share, but also whatever I see happening in Colombia and South America, I look at it with a different perspective. And I know there are valuable people working on that there. So let's just diverse the way in which we work on these things. And this might be my way of contributing. So yeah, I definitely, and you know, I at some point I thought I was repeating myself, and I already said this. I need to just either say it in a different way, or say it in a different place, or say a different thing. So all the three of those things. So yes, every time that I go is very, very interesting because I listen to people, I get information, I get updates, and it's fascinating just how, from outside, and then, okay, what can I do with this or not? Apart from same, how do I pay the bills, all these things that keep me busy too. And yeah, I mean, personally, it's also important to educate yourself in new ways and learn new skills. I think if you stay in the same place for too long, you tend to not do that. So for me, that was important too, as we have discussed, Nick. When I have my existential questions, you remind me of that. So Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you. Yeah, I
All
agree.
right.
yeah. I think if we haven't moved here to Australia, maybe we wouldn't be talking now like in another language.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
that, yeah, that I think is important to mention it also. Like
Yeah.
even if it's the same information in a different language, we can reach more people, and that is useful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. Well,
Well,
it was.
sounds also. This
Yeah,
sounds very
we could.
important and existential. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know. I feel like we could go down a rabbit hole here. There's no getting
Yeah.
out of. Um, yeah.
Well, thank you. It's sorry,
Yeah.
it's Shava or Shava? How do you pronounce it?
Shava,
Shava. Yeah.
Shava.
yeah,
Shava.
Shava,
Like Shaggy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Shava.
Yeah.
Where is your name coming from?
My original name is Salvador.
Is Shava
Oh.
a nickname for Salvador?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Chava is a nickname for Salvador in Mexico, but with C.
Huh.
Ah, okay, okay.
But because I'm from Ensenada, people pronounce the CH with like SH. That is
Okay.
Shava because the
Okay.
pronunciation changed. Yeah, that's why it's with S.
Interesting.
Interesting. Okay, I had no idea.
Well, it
Yeah,
sounds even Indian or
yeah,
someone in the Middle East. So yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
All right, man.
Okay.
It was a real pleasure
Yeah.
to
What a
speak with
pleasure.
you
Same.
face
Thank
to
you.
Yeah,
face, and like
likewise.
keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep
Yeah.
sharing it when I can because it's like
Yes.
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
No,
So thank you.
same,
We are.
Yeah.
same. I really like the thing that you are posting in New Worlder. I want to have more time to read all of them. So many interesting topics. And honestly, it's an honor to be here with you, talking with you, with people who care about this food industry in a different way.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much
Thank
for
you.
this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.